meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our invocation. Dear God, please bless our meeting today. May our discussions be fruitful, our decisions wise, and our community strong. Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Here.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Here.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Present. First on the agenda, we have our minutes to be approved from the regular meeting of February 29th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve waiving the reading of the same?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. Next on our agenda is public comment. Any member of the public wishing to address the Board of Commissioners, please come forward, state your name and address, after which you have 3 minutes. And I do see, by the way, that we have a special presentation first. Jessica Orlick is the winner of our Downtown Paynesville DPO organization logo contest, and we want to recognize Jessica for her extraordinary achievement. So if she would mind coming forward, along with any representatives of DPO.
Nice logo. Yes, I've got a camera.
Paynesville is a beautiful place, and this is a beautiful way to represent. So if you wouldn't mind approaching, you can talk a little bit about how this competition was decided and how the extraordinary artist was chosen.
Of course. So, hello everyone. Let me see if I can go this way. Hello everybody. My name is Juliana Petty and I serve as the Director of Professional Programs for Leadership Lake County. We were very grateful to partner with Downtown Paynesville organization to start a Paynesville Arts and Culture Council. We thought this was a great way to give back to the community. And we're very grateful that Jessica submitted this wonderful logo as a logo contest to kick off the Paynesville Arts and Culture Council. We think this is going to be a great asset to the community. And we'd just like to thank the commissioners for being able to give this proclamation and recognize Jessica's leadership in our community and supporting the Arts and the Culture Council. The members that picked the winner, they are part of the Leadership Lake County signature class, and they represent different leaders across the community. So Jessica, we're just very grateful that this art, we felt, encompass who Paynesville is in the community, and that a lot of leaders, felt that this artwork would represent the Paynesville Arts and Culture Council for years to come. So thank you very much, and would you like to say anything? Yeah. Thank you.
I think that Jessica speaks most boldly through her art. Yeah. And if I could just share that the commissioners recognize that the dynamic leadership of Jessica goes beyond this wonderful logo. As the founder and owner of Janie Dope Customs and Design Company, Jessica's innovative approach, her remarkable attention to detail, and commitment to excellence have set her apart in the realm of graphic design, earning her esteemed recognition in the industry. And we would be honored if you would come up with your awarding sponsor for a quick picture with the commissioners.
Sure.
Any member of the DPO who wants to join us, welcome. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming and public portion. Any member of the public, please step forward. You have 3 minutes.
Gilda Spencer, 5580 Ford Road, Madison, Ohio. Good morning. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the cemetery in Willoughby for the veterans. First of all, my family is a family of veterans. All my father's side and my grandfather and my cousins and everybody else are buried at the National Cemetery in Johnson City, Tennessee. My husband is a Vietnam vet, and so is my daughter. So my question to you is, what really upset me about this was that you were going to send a letter to Willoughby demanding that they take their legal responsibility and clean up this cemetery, which I understand that. I appreciate that. But when it came to our road, and the solicitor reminded you week after week after week, it was your legal responsibility, and to put us out of danger because we're in danger out there. We're still in danger. It's not going to be completed, if we're lucky, if they get everything, till October, maybe November. So we're still without all those things that we've talked about before. So for me, the audacity of you to send Willoughby a letter about a cemetery, but you can't take care of what's happening over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? The public portion, Bishop.
Juad Mebel, 1049 Brentwood Drive, Pennsville, Ohio. It is a blessing to stand before you. March 29, Pennsville Ministers Fellowship will be having 7 last words. And we ask Commissioner Hamercheck to be the master of ceremony. And I'd like to invite Pennsville community, Lake County community. And the reason why it's because when I first came here, I was only 31, and I'm 72. So it is a blessing to serve a great Northeast Ohio, a great community. It's a blessing. I'm so thankful. I don't know where my mother would be to see me standing before you and address such a great government. Blessing.
Thank you, Bishop.
Commissioners, I'm Linda O'Brien. I'm the founder and director of Liberty Camp USA, and I'm here on behalf of the founding families that settled Willoughby Hills back in the 1700s, the Smiths, the Whites, and the Shrams. I'm also here on behalf of 2 soldiers that lay rest there, Edward Halstead, who was a Revolutionary War soldier who stood guard for 4 years at the Boston Harbor, and that was 2 years after he was married. The other soldier is his great-grandson, who became by the name of William White because the family of Halstead married into the Smiths and then the Whites. But William White did not do so well as his grandfather. He lost his life at 18 and a half years old, is what it says. His tombstone was reading that he was far away from friends and family at 18 and a half. His tombstone today is broken into pieces and it's barely readable. I've done a lot of research on this project because it's deserving. These people, without them, the Whites, the Shrams, and the Smiths, I don't know what Willoughby Hills would have become. So it's not about Willoughby Hills today. It's about Willoughby Hills in the tough founding days of this land. I came to Commissioner Hamercheck and Pleshnik on July 4th of 2023 at this ceremony and asked your support for this. And you committed to do that. And I appreciate that. We are now at the point that we must do something. I have researched options, and the Stone Huggers organization will be back in Geauga County the end of June, and we need to get on their calendar for July. Their quote is attached to what I'm going to present to you. It's under $30,000 to restore a cemetery with 74 interned. And I have seen their work. It's amazing. I stand by in my recommendation. In addition, we are recommending the putting up a fence. That quote is also here for you. That's a little over $13,000. And that's to protect the grounds once they are restored. And the fact is, it is a sad situation. I have pictures here for you as well. You will see tombstones laid up against trees. You will see tombstones stacked one on top of the other because no one knew what to do with them. I plead with you to deal with this and give us the $50,000 that is necessary to make this happen this year. It is a wonderful project that will give this county recognition for our 250th anniversary. So on that note, I will leave you this research. Not having been here on a regular basis, I'm not familiar with how to do that.
You may hand it to the clerk.
All right. So please give this serious consideration. When I spoke with the Stone Huggers organization just yesterday, they are finalizing their calendar for this year. I'm asking for your approval of this project. Thank you.
Anyone else for public portion? Councilwoman.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Angela Schmidt of 1048 Quinton Road in Eastlake, Ohio. I wanted to come here and ask you for your support. In April, the Eastlake Women's Club is bringing awareness about child abuse prevention. And if you're able to join us on April 4th, we will be planting pinwheels in the front of Eastlake City Hall, as well taking a group picture. I know your schedules, so we are also asking if you can't make it. We are giving different people throughout our community these pins and asking you to wear them in the month of April as a conversation piece. So if that's okay, I would love to give it to your clerk for each of you. And I brought extras, so I know that there's a lot of community leaders here. So if anyone wants any, you're glad to have them.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public portion?
Brian Massey, 8196 Rainbow Drive. I'm here to make the commissioners aware that there are two entities that are collecting property taxes from the citizens of Lake County, but are not being good stewards of those taxes. Auburn Career Center is involved in an ongoing lawsuit with their teachers union and have spent approximately $3.0 million to solve a 12-year-old claim by the teachers that originally was $144,000. The courts have found for the teachers every time. However, Auburn's administrator, Brian Bontempo, and their 11-member board continue to waste taxpayers' money in a continued legal battle. Lake County taxpayers pay over $4 million in property taxes per year to Auburn. Lakeland Community College has been so severely mismanaged by Mr. Morris Beveridge, I guess we call him the second. They had to recently lay off staff. The enrollment continues to decline, and without the $20 million per year in property taxes from the Lake County taxpayers, we contend that they would be in state receivership. When you couple this with the fact that the cornerstone of Lakeland's teaching is the Marxist agenda of diversity, inclusion, and equity, we believe that the use of their property taxes to fund this institution is immoral. What do both institutions have in common? Both of their boards are appointed and not elected by the taxpayers that fund the institutions. We ask, to whom do the taxpayers petition for a redress of their grievances? Under the doctrine of lesser magistrates, we are requesting that the Concord trustees, Morgan McIntosh, Amy Lucci, Carl Dorndorfer, and the Lake County commissioners, John Plechnik, John Hammercheck, and Rich Regovich, step up and protect the financial interest of the citizens of Lake County from this wasteful spending of both institutions. If the Concord trustees or Lake County commissioners do not get involved to protect the financial interest of Lake County taxpayers, it will confirm our statement that we have taxation without representation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Anyone else for public portion? Mr. Mayor? We got you next.
Morning, Commissioners. John Mara, 39 Minnewawa Drive, Timberlake. Last week I brought up about the local government fund. Just want to give a little background. Around the time of the Great Depression, the main source of revenue for local governments was property tax, but they faced drastic declines in property tax revenue because of foreclosures upon homes and homelessness. As a remedy to the economic devastation, Ohio passed its first sales tax in 1934 and created the LGF, the Local Government Fund, with local governments receiving between 18 to 32% of the sales tax revenue from 1935 to 1947. Various changes were made to the local government fund over the years, including changes to the formula used to calculate each county's allocation to make it more equitable for non-urban counties, and revisions to constrain the discretion that the county's budget commission had in the distribution of the county's undivided local government fund. And in 2011, municipalities, along with other local governments, played an important role in recovery of Ohio's financial position when the state was projected to have an $8 billion deficit. The fiscal year 2012 and 2023 operating budget, the LGF was cut in half over 2 years, and the percentage was decreased to 1.66% of the GRF revenues beginning August of 2013. And again, to date, I have not seen that was ever restored. And this is one of the things that I petitioned last week, is this is something that I believe we need to get legislation so that we can get that money back, that again, that is our money. Because again, this is all funded through sales tax and so forth. In fiscal year 2016 and 17, the operating budget was redirected a total of $12 million to small villages, those with population under 1,000, and townships with small villages receiving $2 million. Of that, 50% was allocated by lanes and lane miles, and 50% was allocated by population. This brings us up to, we're on the committee now trying to get the allocation for the different communities for the funds that we have in distributing it, and they want to come up with a formula, basically that's an alternate formula, where they want to go with population alone. And what we're finding out is that most of the counties don't use just population alone. They have some other factor in there. Some of the factors, again, would be, again, allocating money for populations under 1,000 and also for small villages. In the same year, the budget was brought, there was another deep cut, which they eliminated the inheritance tax. And again, they increased that, again, they had some allocation of that, but then again, that cut our funding again. So municipalities are continuing their efforts to partner with the state to see if the LGF funding is restored. By explaining the importance of the fund and its history, we hope to build momentum for further LGF increase in the near future, providing both flexibility and stability as communities carry out the critical services. This is especially needed today as municipalities deal with the efforts of inflationary cost increase for projects and services. So appreciate, like I said, if we can get together and do something to recover some of this money, get some legislation from our legislators, it would be appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you.
Chris Weiss, Trask Road in Leroy. First of all, I wanted to wish Commissioner Hamercheck's mother well. I'd heard that she's been recently hospitalized, 97 years old, and I'd enjoin everyone here to pray for her return to health. Possibly the bishop might be able to give us a prayer at the conclusion of the meeting. That'd be very nice. I didn't come up here to talk about veterans and cemeteries, but since I heard about it, just directing your attention to Evergreen Cemetery right across the river, we have 3 notable graves over there. One of them of Howell Burl Treat, who was a Civil War soldier and a Medal of Honor recipient. You'll find his grave in Division 10 on the north side, little blue flag with the Medal of Honor stars on it. We also have 2 African-American Civil War veterans, Edward Witten, who served in Company H, 29th U.S. Regiment Colored Troops, and Charles Eledge, who was in Company C, 101st United States Infantry during the Civil War. That division later became the Screaming Eagles in World War II. Shamefully, both these African-American veterans rest in unmarked graves, possibly something that the cemetery department could rectify in the near term, as they deserve no less recognition than any other veteran who lies in our cemeteries locally. What I really came up here to talk about, you're lucky I have very little time left. You guys got what you wished for, didn't you? You know, the saying goes, be careful what you wish for, because now you're not going to have Hammercheck around after January to blame for stuff. And I'm just wondering, which of the 2 of you is going to learn everything he knows about running this county and build the rapport that he has and that you don't have with all the departments in this county? Who's going to do that? Okay? I'm also wondering, I'm actually thinking about starting a pool to see how long it'll be before you, Boss Plechnik, and Morris Beverage are at each other's throats fighting for power. We'll see. Have a good day.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion?
Hi, I'm Kathy McAdams. I'm at 9730 Yellowwood Drive in Concord. And, well, let's start with the last thing first. Military markers are the responsibility of the federal government. It is actually an arm of the Veterans Administration, so if there are military markers that are broken, disrepaired, absent, that's where that needs to start, not coming to the commissioner's office. I've been coming now for quite a few times, not weekly, but I try to, because I think it's important that every citizen have an interest in be involved in our government and what's going on. It's our responsibility. It's your money our money that you're spending. So, one thing I want to address is last week when the 4-H girls were here, there was almost a complete lack of interest, except for these 2 commissioners, in what the girls were saying. One commissioner just wrote constantly. His head was down and he wrote constantly. I have pictures of it. It's true. So it's important that all of you listen to what the citizens say when they come up here. Not look at your cell phones, not look at your tablets, not look at your computers. You need to be paying attention. All right, the next thing I have is, since we want to save money at the county level, which we all do, I'm a very great believer in the CASA system, which is Court-Appointed Special Advocate, and it's a part of a juvenile court. Many juvenile courts, Cuyahoga, Geauga, for 2 examples locally, have a CASA system for children who come before the juvenile court not for criminal reasons, for reasons of abuse, neglect, the parents are drug addicts and can't begin to take care of their children, anything like that. It saves hundreds of thousands of dollars in attorney fees every single year. If we're going to, we need to take care of our children. These CASAs are volunteers. They are trained. It's a wonderful program. My late husband was a CASA in Geauga County for 11 years, and he only retired because he wasn't physically able to do it anymore. He loved it. Those kids thrived. He had 26 kids in 11 different cases. And except for the last 5, which were one family unit, they were all reunified with their family, and they're still with their families to this day. In fact, I created a scholarship in Geauga County CASA for kids who graduate from the CASA program in my husband's name. And finally, for those who complain about Ford Road, I have to call your attention to Callow Road in Leroy that was closed for 3 years because there was no action from the commissioners to get it fixed. There was a problem with the county engineer who is leaving us. So I just wanted to thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Anyone else for public portion?
John Music, 45 Coventry Drive. I just want to mention one thing was brought up about our education system, and my Riverside School Board's meeting tonight, and I plan on being there. But what I really see by going to all these meetings is that there's so much duplication and triplication. Just like Riverside's talking, they've had welding, and one of my family members went to welding, took them there in Auburn, and then got a certification from Lincoln. And the thing about it is, I see where so many things are, taxpayer dollars are going into triplication. In my opinion, high schools are to teach the 3 R's, and that's it. Auburn Career is to get you ready for your careers. Lakeland is to get you ready for college, in a 4-year college and so forth. But in my opinion, none of those are doing what they should be doing, and I see a lot of duplication and triplication of taxpayer dollars being spent for the same thing. So I know you don't have control over a lot of monies, but some of these locations you do have money. So I'm asking you to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Like every person now has to be a good steward of their dollars, because, the thing about it is make sure our money is well spent. We don't need duplicate one. I won't mention which one of them said, well, it'll help the enrollment. Well, your job is to teach 3 R's or maybe the careers or this. Why do we have all this duplication there? So all I'm asking you is to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars, because there are many, many people, just like on the way here to this meeting, there was a survey done. It was on the radio, and it said United States now ranks 23rd in the world in the happiest country to live in. First time ever, we were not even in the top 20. That's very sad. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Anyone else for public portion? Anyone else? Hearing none, on to resolutions. Madam Clerk.
In special resolutions, a resolution recognizing the week of March 17th to 23rd, 2024 as National Agriculture Week in Lake County.
I want to introduce Mandy Orahood, the organization director from the Ohio Farm Bureau. Also in attendance, Steve Ohms, our Farm Bureau president, and Eric Cotton, owner of Silvercrest Winery and Farm Bureau Public Policy chair. Any words?
So thanks for inviting us here for our annual spring celebration of, well, it's March Madness, first of all, and but it's Agriculture Week. And, every year in the spring we celebrate it. And we've brought some Lake County things for you, Lake County products. And we've got maple syrup, honey. We have some greens that were just picked yesterday at OD Greens. It's a veteran-owned hydroponic market. They were just picked at like 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so they're pretty fresh. Eggs and some other things. And thanks for your support and for agriculture in Lake County. It's a very interesting county. We are like half urban, half rural, and it's probably one of the most diverse counties in the state. We have I think more manufacturing businesses in Lake County than any other county, and it's just a very interesting place to work and live and farm. Anybody else? Everybody else is very shy. So thanks again.
Well, we thank you for your service to Lake County, and I believe that we have a resolution to potentially adopt.
I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. And Mr. Regovich, if you would do us the honors of reading the highlights of this resolution.
A resolution recognizing the week of March 17th to the 23rd, 2024 as National Agricultural Week in Lake County. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners hereby finds and determines that all formal actions relative to the adoption of this resolution were taken in open meeting of this Board of County Commissioners, and that all the deliberations of this Board of County Commissioners and its subcommittees, if any, which result in formal actions were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with acceptable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of Revised Code. And whereas American agriculture is the foundation of our country, it's the backbone of a healthy and prosperous nation made possible by the hard work of America's farms and farm families. However, the average American is now at least 3 generations removed from the farm. In fact, farm and ranch families make up less than 2% of the U.S. population, resulting in disconnect between food and fiber and the people whose hard work, dedication, and passion bring all of us to the table. And not only does American agriculture produce food, fiber, and renewable resource products, but agriculture is essential to maintaining a strong economy. It is dedicated in ensuring Americans to have access to safe, abundant, and affordable products. When you factor in all the jobs involved in processing, distributing, and marketing food and fiber products, you see the American agriculture is truly everywhere and touches everyone in almost every way. Each American farmer feeds more than 165 people, a dramatic increase from 25 people in the 1960s. Quite simply, American agriculture is doing more and doing it better. As the world population soars, there's an even greater demand for food and fiber products in the United States. Now, therefore, we, Lake County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim March 17th through the 23rd, 2024 as National Agriculture Week. We call upon citizens to acknowledge and celebrate the achievements of all those who, working together, produce an abundance of agricultural products that strengthen and enrich our community and our nation.
Amen. And if you would mind coming forward for a quick picture with the commissioners, we will present you with the resolution. Madam Clerk, if you would continue with resolutions.
In the Utilities Department, resolution accepting a 3-year maintenance bond in the amount of $20,876.78 for sanitary sewers for the Glenbrook Estate subdivision in the City of Mentor, job number 22-22.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plutchnik?
Yes.
Resolution to delete sewer sums and associated administrative fees certified to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plutchnik?
Yes.
Resolution transferring appropriations within the Lake County Department of Utilities Sewer Fund for 2024 expenses.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plutchnik?
Yes.
Resolution approving plan specifications and estimates of cost in the amount of $316,745 for sanitary sewers for Brookview Reserve Subdivision Phase 3 in the City of Mentor, job number 22-12.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck?
Yes.
Commissioner Plutchnik?
Yes.
Resolution certifying unpaid water and sewer sums and administrative charges to the Lake County Auditor.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
In the Commissioner's Office, resolution accepting a grant and authorizing execution of a sub-grant award agreement as provided through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, sub-grant number 2022, ARCLBE 910A, in the amount of $125,000 between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Crime Laboratory and the Office of Criminal Justice Services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, before we call the vote, I just want to say a special thank you to our prosecutor, Chuck Colson, and his staff, including Dave Hackman, for their hard work in supporting the crime lab and bringing this grant into Lake County. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of a work amendment to the agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners and Burgess and Nyepel Incorporated for additional design professional services for 41 East Erie Street office renovation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement between the Lake County Board of Commissioners on behalf of the Lake County Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the Communications Workers of America, Local 4340, expiring March 31st, 2027.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? I would just say a special thank you to our Director of Administrative Services, Joel DeMar, for his hard work with the prosecutor's office in getting this agreement before the commission. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution declaring certain county personal property obsolete and no longer needed, to wit, Epson receipt printers, and authorizing the private sale of said property in the amount of $400 to Blue Earth County in Minnesota for use by the Recorder's Office in accordance with Section 307.12B1 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, I know that our recorder is in attendance today. Would you like to say a word?
Well, not necessarily, but this is just equipment that we used, and I got a call from the Minnesota recorder, and she said, "Can we buy those from you?" And I said, "Let me check." So we got new ones, and they got our old ones, and they're being used in another county in another state.
Waste not, want not. Our recorder was just sharing that she has donated some obsolete printers to Blue Earth County to try to make government more efficient, not just in Ohio, but Minnesota too.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Ohio Regional Development Corporation for program management services for the Lake County Lead Safe Ohio program in the amount of $143,224.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
In the Finance Department, resolution approving payment of bills as listed on the Commissioner's Approval Journal in the amount of $1,677,283.22.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution approving purchase orders as listed on the Commissioner's Purchase Order Approval Journal in the amount of $923,316.58.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution increasing appropriations through various non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes.
Resolution transferring cash and an appropriation within various general and non-general fund accounts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechner.
Yes. With resolutions complete, on to departmental reports, starting with utilities.
Thank you, Commissioner. In an effort to accommodate possibly some unpredictable traffic on April 8th, we're going to adjust our landfill operating hours. We're going to open an hour and a half early at 5:30 a.m. and close at 2 p.m. And also additional requests for that also, so we're going to accommodate that.
It's difficult to adjust every 450 years or so, but April 8th will be an exciting day for Lake County as we experience the total eclipse, and we're grateful for the flexibility of your staff as we accommodate our constituents and customers, but at the same time we recognize that the roads are likely to be jammed as several 100,000 people visit the county, maybe even a few million, to view this historic event.
Mr. President, I heard on the radio today that one of the major trash haulers is starting at 3 a.m. to pick up residential, so they're done by that.
Yeah, we've made all the major haulers aware of this, and this will be posted on our website also.
Excellent. Anything else, Mr. Roethlisberger?
That's all. Thank you.
Then on to Job and Family Services.
Good morning, Commissioner. A couple things this morning. I wanted to mention our career development specialists are going to be on the move in the next couple of months. They are hosting some information sessions on April 15th from 1:30 to 4 p.m. at the Willoughby Hills Library. So this is an opportunity for our Ohio Means Jobs staff members to interact with anyone from the public who would like to learn more about the services provided in the OMJ Center. So that's Willoughby Hills on April 15th, as well as at the Willowick Public Library on May 17th, again from 1:30 to 4 p.m. If anyone has questions, certainly they could call our staff at 440-350-4000 and press option 3 to get more information about those events. I also wanted to thank the City of Eastlake for planting pinwheels in April to raise awareness regarding Child Abuse Prevention Month. I believe we're slated to have a resolution on the agenda here next week, so I'll talk a little bit more about that on the 28th, about the efforts that Job and Family Services is doing to raise awareness. Also wanted to thank Mayor Mara, who provided a resolution today from the Village of Timberlake declaring April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. We typically reach out to all of our local elected officials to pass resolutions in their cities and villages and townships. So thank you. I believe this is the first one we've received back. So more to come next week.
Exciting. And a second thank you to Councilwoman Angela Schmidt for being here today on behalf of the cause. Our County Administrator, Jason Boyd.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. A few things. Adding on Mr. Roethlisberger's note about hours, I sent a note to all elected officials and department heads regarding buildings under the Commissioner's control regarding the eclipse. We will be open that Monday for general county business. Obviously, that does not include the courts and or the sheriff's operations, but county offices under the Commissioner's control. So essentially, this campus will be open. We will have minimal staffing. Those folks who can work remote, we're encouraging department heads to allow them to work remote. I will put a plug in for JFS. They will be working, but they are not having public appointments that day. They start scheduling those now, or probably a couple weeks ago, so we made that decision that her folks will be working in varying capacities, but will not be open for public visits due to the traffic. So just wanted to put that out there for the general public. In a brief update, our county sheriff and about 8 other county folks are en route to Davidson County, Tennessee today for a visit to their public safety center. I've referenced a few weeks now. This is a relatively new jail facility that is operating currently. Our trip to Wayne County last year, Detroit, was a new jail that was still vacant. So we got to see the shell of a building without folks. Commissioner Hamercheck attended that. They will see, this newer facility. We're looking at technology, how they're using technology. We're going to look at chases, utility chases, maintenance chases, where our guys and gals can get in and fix stuff. And a couple other variables that the sheriff has interest in. So we'll have a more detailed report next week. I've asked the sheriff to be prepared to say a few words on that. Secondly, I just finished this morning. I submitted 2 federal grant requests to Senator Brown and Congressman Joyce. So trying to garner some additional funds for the Public Safety Center project. I hit send at about 9 o'clock this morning, so I'll keep you posted on how those go. I want to thank Sheriff Leon Bruno and Chief Izzo for their participation. We had a couple strategy sessions last week and this week to get those portals filled out. And secondly, or I guess thirdly, I've been working internally on some of the opioid guidelines for some of our funds. I believe that those guidelines are in the signature file for your consideration, and we'll have more forthcoming in the coming weeks so that we can start to administer some needed projects in our community with our internal funds that we have regarding various opioid settlements. So thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Yes, the next commissioner meeting is scheduled for Thursday, March 28th at 10 a.m.
You know I'll be there. Legal?
No report, Commissioner.
Thank you. Then on to old business. Any old business before the commission?
Mr. President?
Commissioner?
Just referencing back to the historic preservation grant that was discussed at our last meeting. Again, going back to my carefully taken notes, I think this will address one of the concerns. The suggestion was that this would be on a reimbursement basis, working with our colleagues in Willoughby Hills. Our clerk of courts has expressed an interest in funding a historic preservation program. Again, we are looking at the 250th anniversary of our country. This would be a great starting place. If we're going to do something, I highly encourage a softening of the hearts, an opening of the mind. Let's park the politics and do something for the good of all. Our honored dead should not be political footballs, and this is a modest ask. It's a proper ask, a proper use of public dollars. So I would highly encourage that rather than sending a scolding letter that has no authority, that we send them a warm welcome and an open hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I would just say, in particular to Ms. O'Brien, I absolutely support and laud her for her efforts in identifying the need to renovate and to repair this historic cemetery. I have been there along with her and Mr. Massey at different times. It certainly needs to be renovated. I don't think anyone is suggesting sending a scolding letter, but the commissioners often send letters of support indicating that they support a project and it should be done. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I did have a word with our county auditor to talk about this issue, and he said, understand that we're not talking about $50,000, you're talking about a few $1 million, because there are many different historic cemeteries that house our honored dead, as other residents have noted, and various cities and villages and townships are responsible for their maintenance. And it is not right or proper that the county subsidizes one and not all of them. So unless if we are prepared to take on that responsibility county-wide, it's not fair to one community or another to play favorites. So I completely agree with the sentiment that we should be non-political. These have always been the responsibility traditionally and are the legal responsibility of their caretakers and owners. It's been established that the city of Willoughby Hills is the owner of this cemetery, and I think that you have to make sure that a good ask is made to the right person. If you ask the governor about what Congress passes, or you ask Congress about a governor's executive order, they're not in a position to make a direct impact. It's the right question to the wrong person. I would encourage Ms. O'Brien to take her presentation to Willoughby Hills City Council. I think they need to hear it, and I don't believe we should send a scolding letter, but I do think a letter of support from the commissioners would be helpful, and if my colleagues are amenable to it, I would certainly sign it. Any other old business before the commission? Then new business. Any new business?
Mr. President?
Mr. Commissioner?
I have taken a part of the search for a new president at Lakeland Community College this week and was able to sit on a couple of the interviews, and they're down to 3 candidates. I think their board has a good pool to choose from. I'm excited about the future and what changes a new president can make. I'm looking at this as what we can do to make Lakeland truly serve Lake County. So I had one this morning that was really impressive. So I look forward to the coming weeks to see what they come up with.
We thank you for your participation in that important process. Although the commissioners won't be choosing the next president, we have certainly vested a lot of trust and authority in the trustees that we've appointed, and I'm confident, based on the national search, that they're going to select a truly extraordinary person, and it reinforces my hope to hear you say that we're seeing some impressive candidates coming to lead our college. I would also say that as the college transitions to a new leadership team, we thank Dr. Morris Beveridge for his many years of service to that institution. I know that we often have discussions in public portion about the role of Lakeland Community College, and some things are said positively and some negatively. But at the end of the day, these public positions are very difficult. I think every commissioner would acknowledge that these positions are very difficult. And I thank the folks who have stepped up to lead Lakeland, Lake County, Auburn Career Center, even though there are times I sincerely disagree with them. Any other new business? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session for personnel and discipline. No business will be conducted after we leave executive session. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Regovich.
Yes.
Commissioner Hammercheck.
Yes.
Commissioner Plechnik.
Yes. We stand.